Hello. This brief video is intended as an introduction to your policy research paper to answer at least potentially any questions you may have on the assignment. But please, as always, with all of the assignments for this class, you should feel free to contact me if you have any additional questions, okay? When you come to our My Courses site, you will see as you scroll down the left-hand side a heading that says Assignment, and under that you will find the Policy Research Paper link. Click on that and it'll take you to this information. There will be a hard copy of the policy paper assignment description posted here. It has been posted, and we'll discuss that assignment description in a moment. There's also the grading rubric or the grading criteria I will use to grade your paper, so you might want to look at that in advance so that you know what it is you're being graded on and what my expectations are for the paper, okay? And then there are two links where you need to submit a Word document. First, there'll be a really brief paper that I'm expecting from you early in February, which basically gives me the outline for what states you're going to look at and what public policy you're going to analyze. And then your final paper is due on Friday, February 24th, which is a week before the class finishes, so bear that in mind. It's due the week before class ends. I was trying really hard not to have everything dumped on you on Friday, March 3rd, so this way you'll have this one out of the way before you get into the last week of classes, okay? For those of you who have never before used My Courses to submit an assignment, if you click on the heading, you will see that there's a place here where you can browse your local files and upload a document. This is what I would like you to do with all your written documents for this class. Type up the paper on your computer as a Word doc, not PDF or not text, rich text or not pages, and then browse and add it to this link and then submit. And it then forwards it to me so that I can do my grading, okay? So let me then look here for a moment at the grading criteria for your paper, and then we'll go and talk about the paper in a little bit more detail. But you'll see this is what the rubric looks like, where 20% of your grade is based on a thesis, assuming you should have some sort of a theme that carries throughout the paper that ties the elements together of your paper that you're discussing. The 40% is based on your overall argument. How well you support that thesis? What's the information you're presenting? Does it hold together? Does it make the argument that you're trying to make? Another 30% for research. Unlike your state project paper, I do expect you to do outside research for this paper. Talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the assignment description. And then last but not least, 10% of your grade is based on how well you write the paper, whether or not there's typos, grammatical mistakes, those kinds of things, okay? So this grading rubric is also posted on your My Courses site, so pay attention to that when you're getting to writing your final paper, okay? Now let's look at the assignment description. Here, this is posted again on My Courses. The assignment's worth 150 points. And what I'm asking you to do is to take a public policy question that is addressed by state governments and to look at that question from the perspective of 3 different states. There's a real beauty to studying state politics in that it's perfect for a comparative look at any kind of issue, and doing comparative work is a wonderful way to begin to understand an issue in more depth. So how might New Hampshire have addressed a particular problem in juxtaposition to California, who might have addressed it differently, and why, right? So the first step will obviously to choose a policy question, and there's a myriad from which you could choose. I have left the last 4 chapters of your textbook, 13, 14, 15, and 16, live on the My Courses site, although you don't have to do any assignments and you don't have to read those, but I thought they might be good references for looking for policy questions on education, on criminal justice, etc., okay? I've asked, I think, that you get me, yes, by January 25th, your syllabus requires that you email to me your topic and your 3 states. What 3 states are you using and what's your topic? It only has to be 2 sentences. I'm not looking for a great description here, but it gives me a sense of whether or not, A, I think it's a topic that you'll be able to find enough information on. Some subjects are much more applicable to national government than they are to state government. It will also help me to help you to narrow the question, because if you say you want to do a paper on education policy, that's so broad that we need to think about narrowing that down for you to develop a meaningful paper in 6 pages, particularly when you're looking at 3 different states and the way they handle the question, okay? You will have, if you remember, on the My Courses site, there are 2 links for submitting assignments for this particular assignment, for submitting papers for this particular assignment. One of them is due on Wednesday, February 8th, and that really is just a further discussion of the email you sent to me. one paragraph in the public policy question, more narrowly focused. What is the specific question you're looking at? What is the public policy problem you're looking to see how states address? And then a little bit more discussion about the 3 states you chose and why you chose them. Might you expect them to have similar public policies? Might you expect them to have different public policies? And if so, why? Okay. There's no grade given for that paper, but you will receive a deduction on your final grade of 25 points, which is pretty substantial if you don't submit it. So my encouragement is you submit it and you submit it on time. Otherwise, you'll start getting penalized, and it's silly to lose points simply because you didn't hand something in, okay? Your final paper will be due on Friday, February 24th, which is, I think I already noted, is the week before our class ends. You will be expected to do an analysis of the way in which 3 different states address a public policy issue, the one that you're studying. Much of this information will come from government websites from your state, from local newspapers. You may, however, also find articles on them in major quality news magazines, for instance, the Atlantic Journal, the New Yorker, those kinds of magazines. And I am expecting for you to get the highest possible grade, for you to choose at least one academic article or peer-researched article that talks about your public policy question to show that you're developing a little bit more depth of understanding about the specific question that you're looking at. It's very possible you'll find an academic article that talks about that policy question in regard to one of your states, which is fine. But I'm expecting for your highest, for those of you who are looking to get the highest grade, as you'll see on the rubric, that you choose at least one academic article. Okay? I am happy to look at drafts of papers if people are wondering whether or not you're on target, but I'd have to have them by the 21st of February for me to have a 24-hour turnaround and get you some feedback in time for you to have your final paper due on February 24th. Okay? So as with all the assignments, as I said at the beginning of this video, if you've got any questions at all, you should be sure to be in touch with me. And I hope you enjoy working on this. Perhaps the most important thing is to choose a topic that might be of interest to you, because that'll make it a whole lot easier to work on over the course of the next 6 weeks. Thanks.